Welcome back. You're listening to Find Out Extra on talkSPORT 2. Ade Oladipo, the great Gareth Davies. All right, let's get straight into a bit of audio here. Eddie Hearn was in the studio with Simon Jordan and Jim White. This is what he had to say about AJ's upcoming fight against Daniel Dubois.
Forget it's two Brits fighting for the world heavyweight title. It's just a great heavyweight matchup. One thing you want in a heavyweight fight is power, speed, form. And these guys have got it all. Like, there is no doubt that this is the most dangerous time to be fighting Daniel Dubois. Coming off Jarrell Miller, which, I think was a credible win, but coming off the Hrgovic win, Dubois is in full flow. And so is AJ. So, you've got a very young guy in Daniel Dubois. It's going to be really interesting to see how he deals with the moment. Because for AJ, these nights are bread and butter. And I know that Dubois has boxed Usyk in Poland, but this is different. Walking out 96,000, the plans that His Excellency has for Fight Week is going to blow your mind. I mean, I don't want to give it away, but it's going to be such a huge moment for Daniel Dubois that you have to be made of the right stuff all week. The pressure, the build-up, particularly on fight night, the ring walk, the moment. Yeah. And I think with Daniel, whatever the game plan is, will probably unravel very quickly, which might make him even more dangerous because he might just go for it. Do you know what I mean? But I think both guys, they have a little bit of history, they know each other, but they're just in form. And when I look back at AJ against Deontay Wilder, we never got that fight, but this actually has similarities. Both guys are massive punchers. Both guys are fast, and both guys have the ability to turn your lights out at any moment.
He's said there, Gareth, as you heard, that this is the most dangerous time to fight Daniel Dubois. Agree or disagree? Agree or disagree? Agree?
I agree. Dubois got momentum. He's looked very good since the Usyk defeat, the Oleksandr Usyk defeat in Poland, which we were at, of course, and he grew from that. He grew against Jarrell Miller. He grew against Filip Hrgovic particularly. And it all depends on how he carries the big week. It's going to be an enormous week for him. It's going to be a lot of pressure because Anthony Joshua knows these big stadium fights, even though there's more pressure on Anthony Joshua than there is on Daniel Dubois to deliver. So it is a dangerous time to fight him because if he gets his mindset right, he's got nothing to lose there. Even though he's the IBF champion, stripped off Usyk. So we can get into that in a minute, but or maybe we'll get into it closer to fight week. But it is a dangerous time. I agree.
Yeah, and I think the one benefit, or look, he has a few benefits, Daniel Dubois. I think a couple of good benefits is that he's done a Riyadh season card twice now. Obviously, Jarrell Miller and Filip Hrgovic. So he's used to all the media requirements every single day, the grand arrivals, the press conference, the public workout, the other presser. So he's done all that. So he's used to it. And he's fought in a big stadium when he fought Oleksandr Usyk.
Yeah,
yes, in defeat.
But different scrutiny, though, Adi, this time. Different scrutiny headlining the card against Joshua. Bigger scrutiny. He's going to be under 10 times as much pressure, I think.
Yeah, and no, I think you're right. I think you're right. Back home in London, he's going to be way more. But I think all the pressure is on AJ because AJ has to win.
Yeah.
I think Dubois, not that Dubois doesn't have to win because you don't want to lose, but he's 26, he can come again. If AJ loses, I mean, I don't know if they're ready to do another rebuild job on AJ. One other thing that Eddie Hearn said was that there are similarities to this fight as there would have been with AJ versus Wilder, in the sense that both are punchers. There is this whoever lands first kind of notion going around. Do you agree with that?
They're both explosive finishers. I mean, all three, rather, are explosive finishers. So the trouble is, I'm thinking about this version of Wilder and this version of AJ right now. I think 5 years ago, it was a different fight.
Yes,
very dangerous fight for AJ because Wilder was
frighteningly dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, but it does. It's not a fight you see going 12 rounds, which you don't think, and also you feel that with AJ and Wilder. The danger for AJ against Wilder was he kept on finding a way of inching in and landing his big shots by about rounds 5, 6, 7 against a lot of fighters. This is more of a boxing match against Dubois, and it's going to be a battle of the jab and who detonates the right hand best, in my view. But it's a fascinating fight, really is.
No, it has a bit of everything. I love it. I can't wait for it as well. I think as we've got closer to it, I think when it was first announced or even first mentioned or murmured, I think a lot of people are like, oh, AJ wins this one. Now, as we've got closer, there's definitely been a bit of a swing towards Dubois. Still AJ a big favorite, and the majority of the people picking AJ, but there's definitely some, not just fight fans, but those sort of that cover the sport that are actually picking Dubois to cause the upset. All right, let's hear from His Excellency again, Turki Al-Sheikh, who's spoken about the AJ Fury fight. He loves this fight. He's desperate to make this fight. And he said he will make this fight ahead of any trilogy with either fighter and Usyk. This is what he had to say.
If everything go right, first of all, Dubois has a chance, very big chance, and it is not easy. If you talk with me as a fan, I think it is difficult fight for Joshua and dangerous fight for Joshua. Okay, but if the winner of Tyson and Usyk, like I will give you like example, if Usyk win, still I want to see Joshua against Tyson if they accept. I will not try to do the third fight before having Tyson and Joshua.
Yeah, look, he's desperate to make this fight, but I'm when he starts speaking about AJ Fury or AJ Usyk or Fury Usyk, I always get nervous because I'm like, there is a Daniel Dubois element to this, and let's not look over Daniel Dubois and talk about AJ Fury yet. Like, I would rather this conversation and the conversations he's having about trilogy fights either way to happen after the 21st. Because I do feel like if I'm Daniel Dubois and I hear this type of audio, it gives me the extra 1 or 2% I need to really go ham in the gym. And I just feel like it's a dangerous thing to overlook fighters. And I feel that there's an element of overlooking Daniel Dubois when we talk about AJ Fury now. Again, well, 22nd of September, I'm okay with. Now, I'm not too sure.
Well, as Turki Al-Sheikh said on live on air, he was. I remember the moment when he said, maybe I'm a little bit guilty of trying to jump ahead before these fights. He said, I know it's gone wrong a couple of times on things I've said, so I hope it goes right on this. I think the big question, like I said, he wants AJ Fury. We all want AJ versus Fury ahead of a trilogy with Usyk or for either man. But the problem is both AJ and Fury, I think, have to win to make it a big fight. It's still a big fight if they both lose, and how they lose is important if they lose. And obviously we're going to have to, we're there on the 21st of September, then we're going to have to wait 3 months for the outcome of Fury Usyk 2. If they both lose, it becomes, it's not as big a fight, it's not as marketable. If they both lose on points or if they both lose on stoppage, it's a very different fight. So once again, we sit waiting to see 2 semi-finals that could go either way. And this is heavyweight boxing, so they could easily go the other way. Fury is very capable of beating Usyk in the second fight. AJ is very capable of beating Daniel Dubois, but that's laid plans and all that.
Is there? This is why, as much as I love rematches, and I think they're important when it comes to contract negotiation, if there was no rematch for Fury versus Usyk, then AJ walks straight into Fury. Fury literally sits it out into the new year, and AJ fights Fury in the new year. But obviously, he's got a Mr. Oleksandr Usyk to get in front of, and I think that's a big problem. A big problem.
But finally, I mean, it's a bit like that. Boxing doesn't have a schedule. This is one of the issues with it. The algorithm is broken. There isn't one that you've got to be light of it. Anthony Joshua, if he beats Daniel Dubois, will be called a 3-time heavyweight champion of the world. And this isn't a criticism of Anthony Joshua, it's a criticism of the system, because this has happened for a lot of different people. But the truth is, Oleksandr Usyk was the IBF champion, I know he relinquished the title, but he would have been stripped of it, and it would have been given to someone else. So and maybe he has earned the right, beating Otto Wallin and Francis Ngannou and Robert Helenius and Jermaine Franklin. But there's aspects to boxing that are always manufactured, and we accept it and we put up with it because it just creates those headlines for us. Do you know where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
He is a 3-time world champion if he beats Daniel Dubois, and it's great that we've got the prospect of things happening next year, which is the biggest fight in boxing, which is Fury and Joshua. But the system is not always perfect. I think maybe we just have to put up with that at times.
Yeah, this is boxing. As I think you've said, and I think many have echoed, it's the wild, wild west. There is no system. It's actually who turns up with the biggest guns wins the battles. It's a bit screwed. But again, it's the sport we love, and sometimes I think we love it because of its chaotic mess. Sometimes, all right, you listen to find
nuances, isn't it? It's just weird nuances. Then we just
someone coming from the outside looking in will think, what is going on? Like, what is going on? And I think Turkey's sort of seeing that now for himself, whether it be promoters or sanctioning bodies, governing bodies. He's actually seeing that firsthand because it must be quite crazy. But hey, this is the sport of boxing.